Hello, everyone, and welcome to Godsol's Turnbuckle. And it is that time once again. We're finally bringing back some predictions to the channel, and it is time to do predictions for WWE Royal Rumble 2021. It's honestly, for most people, probably the best pay-per-view, or at least the best gimmick match throughout the entire year. It's definitely something that's always up there based off of the unpredictability of the match itself, at least in terms of based off of the aspect of the unpredictability of like winners, or even though sometimes winners seem very obvious or anything like that, or even unpredictability for people who show up in the Rumble matches themselves. Usually, it is a pay per view that a lot of people look forward to. Obviously, this is also quote unquote the beginning to the road to WrestleMania for WWE and everything like that. So it's usually an event that is a lot of fun to watch and a lot of fun to go off and just see what ends up happening, the intertwinings. Usually you see something in this pay-per-view that indicates what's going to be happening at WrestleMania, not just necessarily with the Rumble winners for the men and women's side, but maybe there are little intricate storylines that lead to the other individual matches that will happen at WrestleMania, and what you'll be seeing in that, in the terms of building into WrestleMania to go along with it. So it's always been intriguing of it's always been an intriguing match to see see what ends out happening in the end. So as of right now, I think there are 6 matches, five of which I know are five of which that I know are actually being announced, and they're apparently happening, everything to go along with that. Actually, there's probably 7, but only 5 of them really being advertised at this point in time. So let's go ahead and start with those. Start with some of those as well. I'm going to add the other 2 that I think that are going to be on the show to go along with it and give a prediction for them just in case. Nothing's really been announced. I'm filming this on a Tuesday afternoon. Of course, Rumble's on Sunday. So let's start with a women's tag team title match. It is going to be Charlotte and Asuka going up against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. It looks like Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to be getting a rematch after they lost those women's tag titles to Asuka and Charlotte. I believe that was at TLC. Charlotte replaced Lana in their match, and they won the women's tag titles. I think they're going to be keeping them here as well. I don't see them necessarily taking those women's tag belts off of Charlotte and Asuka, especially with Charlotte working a different program with Lacey Evans at this point in time, because you kind of figure maybe that them losing those women's tag titles will lead to them having some form of match over the Raw women's title or anything to go along with that. It's hard to really say, but I don't necessarily see them losing it here. So I am going to go with Charlotte and Asuka picking up the victory. Now, the next 2 matches I'm going to go over are going to be matches that haven't really been announced, but I think they're going to happen. First one is going to be Bobby Lashley and Matt Riddle for the United States title. I believe this is going to be a match that's going to be on the Rumble show itself, based off of Monday night with based off of what they've been doing in general, but Matt Riddle, winning that gauntlet against the Hurt Business, giving him a United States Championship match. I think they said at some point it might even be for Sunday, to go along with that. And then Bobby Lashley came out and put him in the Hurt Lock, and kind of got the advantage again. I don't see them taking that. I don't see a reason for the Hurt Business, or I don't see a reason for Bobby Lashley losing that United States title quite yet. I could see him losing it to Matt Riddle at some point in time, just not Sunday if they put the match on Sunday. It's just, I think that's still a little too soon. If they're going to be losing a title from the Hurt Business at any given point in time, at least anytime soon, based off the dissension between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, it will be those tag titles, not the U.S. title quite yet, on those particular ones. So I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley picking up the victory on this one. Also, this match not announced, but more than likely will happen. Is going to be Sasha Banks and Carmella for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Again, I see Sasha just holding onto that belt going into WrestleMania throughout the entire season for that one. So it's a simple Sasha Banks retains. If they are going to be doing that match, I imagine they will, based off of everything that they've been kind of hinting at throughout the entire thing. And like even Carmella hasn't even declared for the Rumble yet. So I imagine that is going to be taking place on Sunday, especially after the whole match with the Sommelier or Reginald, with Sasha and Reginald, which was actually quite good for what it was. You don't usually see intergender wrestling. You're seeing it little bits and hints and pieces of it here and there, but you don't see normally like full matches, and they didn't even really do like a full match. They just showed off the athleticism of Reginald, and Sasha, eventually gets the win on that one. But yeah, I could see them doing that match, and I don't see any reason for them to take that belt off of Sasha anytime soon. So Sasha would be my pick for that one as well. So this is going to bring us to the 2 Royal Rumble matches. Let's go ahead and start with the women's match. The women's Royal Rumble. Obviously, we've had a bunch of different people. A bunch of different people and superstars declaring for it and everything to go along with that. The likes of Bayley, Bianca Belair, the Riot Squad, Charlotte's going to be in there, Alexa Bliss is going to be in there, including a lot more to go along with that. I imagine we're going to see a lot of NXT to go along with that as well. On those particular ones, maybe it's going to be hard to say whether or not they're going to have legends really involved in either of the women's or men's Royal Rumble matches. If there is a legend that shows up in the women's Royal Rumble, I would like it to be Victoria. I'd just like to see Victoria get into the women's Rumble at one point in time with that. So it's really hard to say with those ones. Now, when it comes to winners in this women's Royal Rumble match, it's hard to really say. Actually, it's not really hard to say. There are clear-cut favorites for this match. One of which is Bayley, Bianca Belair, and probably Alexa. I suspect that they'll have Charlotte make the final 4 or something like that. But when it comes in the terms of people who have been built up in the going into the match itself, the 2 clear-cut favorites are Bianca and Bayley. Alexa's kind of there if they do the whole aspect of Bianca and Bayley kind of cancel each other out on those ones. Which I don't think is going to be the case with that as well. I kind of wavered back and forth of who I was going to pick for this one. And it was just, it's really hard to say, but the more that I thought about it and the more that, started thinking and going through like the indications with it, that I'm probably going to go, I'm going to go with Bayley on this one. Now, don't get me wrong. I am a person who, would love to see Bianca and Sasha have a match at some point in time as well. But I don't see them wanting to do babyface. Now, they could simply turn either one of them. They could turn Sasha if they wanted to. They could turn Bianca if they wanted to. If they wanted to do a babyface heel thing, more than likely they would turn Sasha, because I don't see them having a babyface winner of the Rumble turning before they had their match with that. But I think they're going to go with the route of the more clear-cut babyface, or, the more, the person that is considered the babyface and the person that's considered the heel, at least when it comes towards the area of SmackDown side. And that, I just would have to say, is going to be Bayley on this particular one. Now, like I said, I could see Alexa winning too with it as well, if they really wanted to go that route. Like Bianca and Bayley are in the midst of a feud, and they haven't even really had their blow-off match yet. in any way. As a matter of fact, they haven't had a match with each other that hasn't been some form of tag match in quite some time. You had the one match on SmackDown, which Bayley ended up winning. And of course, they left as that, she did a little sneaky thing to cheat and beat Bianca that way. But you haven't really had a full on blow off between the two of them going into their actual feud, which I would imagine that they would do somewhere down the line. You'll have an interaction between them that's going to further their story on this one. Now, whether they try to end that feud before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania with that is going to be left up to them. They could even set it up as like maybe Bayley wins the Rumble, but loses a match against Bianca or something like that, setting up a title feud for after Mania or anything. They have a lot of different things that they could pull off with that one. But I'm going to go with Bayley winning the Women's Royal Rumble match. Now, let's go into the Men's Royal Rumble match. Again, same things like with the Women's Rumble match. Are they going to use any legends? Is any of NXT going to be showing up in there to go along with it? I imagine we'll see some involvement for NXT. I don't know what you're going to see in the terms of comebacks or legends. Of course, Edge had already announced that he's coming back in, so that's going to at least be a comeback from somebody. But Edge had also been around for the past year outside the factor of having the torn tricep injury to go along with it. So, clear cut winners for the Men's Rumble. It's hard to say, and it's kind of hard to say to a certain degree. A lot of people were thinking Big E for a while. I don't necessarily think that's the case, at least right now. They could still go the Big E route on that one, though. I'm not sure if they've built that up quite enough to go to a Rumble victory. Daniel Bryan's been talking a lot about never winning the Royal Rumble, or even not even winning a Battle Royal in any way, shape, or form. You have Randy Orton in there. You imagine something with the Fiend's going to happen with that, since they're not doing a match with him and the Fiend or anything to go along with it. So you imagine something's happening there. Edge obviously coming back in. Honestly, Edge's promo from Monday was absolutely fantastic and made you even believe that, he's coming into the Royal Rumble match and he has that chance of winning it. That was how good that promo was. Raw hasn't been good. That with the exceptions of like little sprinklings of here's something really good, here's something great, while the rest of it's kind of on those particular sides of everything. So I would even put him into the favorites of that one. It would be interesting to see if they continue on because I imagine Jey Uso is going to be in there. I would imagine that they would try to continue something of like, what happens if Jey Uso wins, or anything to go along with that, especially with Roman on that particular side. When it comes to actually making a prediction for this one, I'm still going to go with Daniel Bryan. I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan on this one because he's had that feud a little bit with Jey Uso and intertwining with Roman. You have Kevin Owens going after the title right now. I imagine that ends at the Rumble with the Last Man Standing match. I don't necessarily know. That's kind of like a little bit of a spoiler for my prediction for the Last Man Standing match, but it's really hard to say on that. And he could be that feud going into WrestleMania. Yes, I have picked 2 SmackDown people to win the Rumble matches, which means I'll be completely wrong on one of them. And probably, I don't know, somebody obscure is going to win either the men's or women's match, Rumble matches. So we'll see what ends out going with those. But I'm going to stick with Daniel Bryan on this one. So this brings us to probably what's going to be the most diverse, or not diverse, but not decisive. Divisive? I think it's divisive is the word I'm looking for with this one. Is the WWE Championship match. Is Drew McIntyre going up against Goldberg. And I am a fan for wrestling from a long time ago. I watched before the Attitude Era. I was watching before the Attitude Era, during the Attitude Era, watching WCW, watching even original ECW a little bit to go along with that. Like that's how long I've kind of been watching on those particular sides. Back in the day, I was a big Goldberg fan. I was on that one. And this time in WCW, a big Goldberg fan. I even, to a certain degree, like some of the stuff that he did during the WWE run, though we've heard more about his WWE run, at least the first one back in 2003, not just from Goldberg himself, but other people such as Bruce Pritchard and everything to go along with that. Um, so it falls under the aspect of yes, Goldberg is a legend. He's been in the Hall of Fame. He's a part timer. He's this, he's that. Why is he getting a title match? Obviously, they've done this with Brock Lesnar a bunch as well. I like the aspect that they're playing this up that Goldberg is coming into this match and he's and them even talking about it's like he comes in, challenges for a title, and wins, and they're making that part of the storyline with that. And it leads me to believe that even if they do something really wonky with it on that one, whether it involves the Miz or something, that Drew McIntyre wins this match. Whether it's made into a triple threat by the Miz, or and Miz eats the pin, or if they just try to do a straight up match in some way, shape, or form. I think they're gonna play that off, and Drew McIntyre is gonna win. So I'm gonna pick Drew McIntyre in this particular match. It'll be interesting to see how they try to play it off. If it's just gonna be like a 2 minute match or anything to go along with that. That's kind of where they've been going with Goldberg, is like anywhere between that 2 to 5 minute range. Any longer usually doesn't go so well anymore with those ones. So we'll see how it plays off. But I think they're going to have Drew win this one in this particular case and build up Drew McIntyre as, an even bigger world beater, like, somebody who can, that you can really actually fully get behind with that WWE title by having him beat Goldberg. Or I guess he could beat The Miz or anything to go along with that. Whatever they decide to do on that one. It's hard to really say. So this is going to lead me to what is the final match on the card, at least what they have announced, is that Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens for the Universal title, last man standing. These guys put on good matches. Let's just be fair about it. These guys put on good matches. That we've had a really good match with them that was a no holds barred or no DQ style match at the Rumble back in 2017 when they had Chris Jericho in the shark cage. So I don't see them not having a good match in any way, shape, or form. It's just a matter of who ends out winning. Well, guess what? I don't see Roman Reigns losing that title before WrestleMania. It just the way that they built up Roman Reigns with this new character, with this heel that he's been going on, like even to the point it's like, I do this for everyone type thing. It's really good. It's really been good, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. SmackDown has been thoroughly enjoyable to watch. As many people who complain about Raw, then lo and behold, Friday nights is like, here's a good show for you guys. Like, what? Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Roman Reigns on this one. I don't see them taking that title off of him before Mania, or even maybe even at Mania. I don't see them taking that title off of him. It's really not something that that they really need to do. They could go a while with this aspect of Roman as the Universal Champion and who he's going to be beaten through this entire time, go along with it. And I can see them running with this for a long period of time. So yeah, Roman Reigns is definitely my clear cut pick for this particular match. That's pretty much all the matches that I have. With that being said, everybody, for anybody who's tuning in, I hope you guys enjoyed everything. I'm going to try to do predictions and a few other things over here on the wrestling channel as much as I possibly can. Of course, I also have my gaming channel as well, which link is down in the description. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, share it, and subscribe if you so wish. With that being said, everybody, I'm out. Take care, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.